Hey guys, Wade Willis here for Wade's Weeb Reviews. And holy cow, did we have by far the best episode so far this season for my teen romantic comedy. This is season 3, episode 7, and it was titled, and they love to have really long titles here, Until the End, Yui Yokohama will continue watching over them. Now, I had a feeling this was going to be a good episode because in the preview, they kind of showed my boy Yoshiteru in it, and I was like, okay, shit's about to pop off in this episode. And it starts off, it's hilarious. Yui and Hachiman meet up with Yoshiteru in the with the gaming club, and there's these two guys with glasses, and the whole time they're doing stuff, they're doing the like anime like glasses adjustment thing. Both those guys work off of each other really well. And Hachiman, as always, does a horrible job asking them to join and basically help for free and get nothing out of it, really. And at one point, Hachiman basically says, like, yeah, if I need to, I'm going to, like, be kneeling and licking Aroha's shoes, which Yoshiteru is like, oh my gosh, that's like disgusting. Kneeling is so gross. And Yui's like, what the hell? Like, the licking is the gross part. That made me laugh, but it's like, makes sense with Yoshiteru. He's a weird dude. I loved it though. And once Hachiman brought up Aroha, the two other guys are like, oh my gosh. And they start talking about all these rumors with her, like her boyfriend is the CEO of a tech company. She's a queen party rocker at school. And Hachiman's like, yeah, that's a good summarization. But yeah, none of the rumors are true, which to me that means it's a horrible summarization, as like summarizing of it. And he basically says like, yeah, her personality's horrible, but she is a good person. And eventually says like, yeah, you'll eventually get addicted to the trashiness and wickedness in her, and conversely find her super cute. And which is super funny because Yui, while he's talking about them getting over like her trashiness or addicted to the trashiness, she's like, and then when he's like says that she's super cute, she's like, what? Like, so thrown off. The whole Aroha and Hachiman, their interactions are some of my favorite in the show. In the show, they're hilarious. Which there are none in this episode, unfortunately. And then the guys are like talking back and forth, and like the way this exchange happens when he tells them that they're going to be like kind of addicted to her. Yoshiteru and the two other guys in the gaming club, they're like, oh, like this is like a grandmaster talking, and it reminded me almost like something like in Revenge of the Nerds, where there's like the one nerd that has maybe kissed a girl, or like in Revenge of, I don't know if it was Revenge of the Nerds, but 16 Candles, where like there's like the nerds are meeting with each other, and the one nerd gets their Molly Ringwald's like underwear, and they're all going crazy. But Revenge of the Nerds too, they have that whole thing as well. But really funny, just the way they were like looking up to him for like having experience somehow with Aroha was hilarious. And then Yui suggests like them working with the Kaihin Soga High School, and I'm like, what high school is that? And then I remembered, I'm like, oh, that's with that guy who was the most annoying person last season, where they were working on the joint Christmas party, and his name is Taminoa. And this guy reminds me so much of, like, if you guys have seen Talladega Nights, when Ricky Bobby wins like his first race, and he's like doing like this thing, he's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. That's like what this guy does all the time when he's talking. So, and if you guys haven't seen Talladega Nights, you need to see it. It's hilarious. Was there really much of a purpose in this part with Hachiman meeting with him? Not really, but one of the most random and amazing things ever in this show, and probably one of my favorite things I've seen this whole anime season, was Hachiman and Taminoa like have a rap battle, and it's awesome. And like, here's a clip little clip of it right here.
具体性がなきゃ僕らも巻き添え。
方向性はアバウト、規模を考えてアジャスト。俺がしたいのはサジェスト。
方向性が見えてないよね。答えが出ないと企画は立ち消え。
I'll actually share the full length, or the full link to the rap battle in the description in my bio here. But yeah, Hachiman tries, but Taminoa, like, homie is spitting bars. Like, he brings the heat. Again, not much happens, but it's a fun scene, just them going back and forth, and Taminoa basically telling Hachiman, like, yeah, your plan kind of sucks. And then back to the gaming club with Yui and Hachiman. They kind of realize, like, okay, we need someone to, like, kind of sponsor this, like, because the gaming club isn't going to work. Which Hachiman kind of I believe it's Hachiman decides, like, hey, we should have the captain committee, like, as the head of this because it sounds official. And then you realize that Hayato is the head of that committee. So I'm like, okay, we haven't seen... He really hasn't been involved at all this season, so I was pretty excited to get him, up and chugging along in this season. We're already episode 7. He hasn't really been involved, and he was kind of a big player in a lot of the episodes in other seasons. So Hachiman goes to kind of corner him at soccer practice and then sees Yukino, and she's kind of just sitting, like, relaxing on a school bench, and she's holding one of the, like, coffees that we always see Hachiman, like, shotgunning. Now, this, because Hachiman doesn't have social media, this is basically the equivalent of Hachiman, like, looking at her on his Instagram profile or her liking one of his pictures from, like, a year ago or something. Like, you know she's thinking about him because he even brings up, like, I don't really see you ever drinking this. It's kind of weird. Then Yui comes out, and it's, of course, super awkward. And, I gotta give it to Yui. She has been freaking going hard in this season. And she's like, like, straight up is like, have you been avoiding me to Yukino? And Yukino pulls up all these lame excuses like, oh, I've been just revolving, or like my life is revolved around this prom thing, and I'm sure it has, but she definitely has been avoiding Yui. And if you guys disagree, go ahead and comment below, but she has been. And then Yui straight up was like, I'm gonna make sure I see all this through the right way, and I'm gonna make sure your wish isn't granted. Harsh. That is a rough burn from Yui there. And then Yukino's like about to like leave, and Yui grabs her arm, and I'm like, are they about to have a cat fight? Like, I knew they weren't going to, but a part of me kind of like was like, that'd be kind of sweet if they got into a fight here. And then Yui's like, oh, like after prom's over, I want to hang out. I want to stay at your sleepover at your place, like the night after, like in the night after that, and kind of like all of us need to get lunch together, and just all these things that we know are never going to happen. After this prom's over, and after, like, and they talk about in April, I believe that's when they graduate school in Japan. I don't see them being friends, and whoever Hachiman ends up dating, like, they're going to end up getting married, and then the other person's out, which is probably going to be Yui. But I don't see all three of them being friends in the future. So it's kind of like she's saying all these things that, like, we know aren't going to happen. And she kind of, like, holds her super tight, and Yukino's, like, kind of feels awkward. But it's a very emotional scene. And just, I feel bad because I don't know if you guys have been through this, but like when I was graduating from high school, there were a lot of people like were like, oh yeah, because I went out to college like across the country, and a lot of the people like I talked about like, oh yeah, we'll see each other, I have not seen them in the like 12 years since I graduated from high school. So may never see each other again, and depending on how relationship wise it works out, someone's going to be left with a bad taste in their mouth. And then there's like an inner monologue at the end, and Hachiman's like, yeah, all of us are horrible at conveying their feelings. Like, okay, Captain Obvious, yes, that is aware to everyone who's been watching this show for 3 seasons. You guys are the worst at conveying how you actually feel. But overall, like, I have to say it was my favorite episode. I thought it was the funniest episode. Yeah, by far, I don't think any episode is really even close. A lot of episodes have really been trying to set up the plot, and there's like, they're kind of getting things ready. Here, stuff was kind of did much get done? No, but like, what I love about the show is really the like banter back and forth between characters, and it's one of the funniest shows out there. And this episode really highlighted that. And with Yoshiteru like in it, you knew like as a main character, I knew it was going to be a funny episode. And then you did have kind of the drama at the end with Yui and Yukino. Anything you could have wanted in the show, it had a little bit of both, and it had the tension in between everyone in it.
Hey guys, this is Wade Willis. Thanks for watching my video. Here's 2 other videos I think you might like, and don't forget to subscribe to my page.